As we continue on our process of becoming more aware, we are certainly a needle in the side of the Callum God, for his position is maintained through agreement to it, and everything in the creation levels beneath where he resides are catered toward that end, from the political systems to science, religions, and everything in between, all based on ideas that are creations of others, that if agreed to, we become restricted by. If indeed the ideas are only creation-based, if they reference just creation, and particularly if the intent of the individual creating them is for the purposes of control and restriction. So yes, creation is simply control, and any idea within it we agree to, we get taplined by, and are in essence agreeing to the restriction, and more unconscious future lifetimes await us. And so the Callum is most delighted if we simply drag ourselves unconsciously through our lifetimes, and never take the time to see and be more than the limited and static rigid position we have up until now decided upon. We remain then forever slaves, and serve to perpetuate the Callum's position. But should we choose a different way, if we show a little courage, and the guides give us the opportunity, then we can begin to extricate ourselves from the self-imposed restricted positions we have up until now settled for. We begin to become then more aware, and recognize a real universal position with the is, as we recognize our real intent, and determine the reason for creation, as a simulator that affords experience for the becoming of what we already are now, real beings of light with the is. And this is what unsettles the Callum God. He surely would not wish his slaves to not only rattle their chains, but break loose from them, and on top of that, share with others, and encourage them to do likewise. It is not only the Callum who is displeased at this opportunity to be with the is, but almost all unaware beings throughout the creational psych realms, and they are equally disturbed by the new presentation, because it gives them too a glimpse, even if they ignore it, of what is possible. Up until now, they have been by and large content with the little created lifetimes and positions they have assumed, and certainly do not want their boat rocked. They don't want fractures appearing in their tiny creational positions. They want their heads to remain firmly buried in the sand, that the waters of the ears seeks to unsettle. The fact is, everyone has a real self in the real universes, but the position must be recognized, and so any references of the ears will surely stimulate something within the individual, regardless of how much they dismiss it. Something will spark subconsciously, something triggered, a nagging feeling, a dim recollection of the real intent, buried beneath all the created little personal intents an individual has chosen for themselves, and chases tirelessly across lifetimes. So they will be agitated to varying degrees, and wanting to cling on to their personal lives. They will be most vehement toward that which is causing them agitation, even though the deliverers of the ear's message are giving them the opportunity of all their lifetimes. So we have most of creation disdaining the new presentation, and all the new friends who promote and share it, and Callum sitting atop the frothing unaware heap, hating the new friends even more. Dwayne has stated that he himself is the most despised individual in all of creation, as he stands at the forefront of the presentation. He is the new man, and takes quite the heat for what he presents. Often he speaks of attacks he has suffered, the bruising he receives from the real side to the physical, and even nearly dying at the behest of the Callum, only still here by his decision to remain, despite all those who were amazed he was not dispatched. It is, after all, our choice and decision in everything that we experience. We decide every facet and detail of our adventure. This, too, requires recognition, that we can take full responsibility for everything that befalls us, and defy those that try and waylay or eliminate us on our journey. Many attacks will occur on the physical level. People will be deployed to take down the new friends. The only problem is, the more aware an individual becomes, the more they are better able to handle themselves, any situation, and they have the backing of the guides. And should a Dark Forces agent seek to attack a new friend, they in fact receive instantaneous cause and effect retribution, and so, should they still decide to do so, they must deal with that. So it's fairly apparent why the Callum would encourage minions to do his bidding, not to get his scaled hands dirty. Interestingly, how the Akashic records can reveal if people are more susceptible to attacks due to the cause and effect they have exacted for themselves. So, in essence, attacking someone who has karmically earned an assault will have the perpetrator less karmically afflicted by doing so. This would explain why guides will only approach individuals if they not only have the courage, but their karma is manageable. Or it's likely if said individual was due a karmic mauling or a death, then it is likely this would be discovered by the Kalorm, as he pores over the Akashic records, and he eliminates the individual before they even barely have begun their awareness process. But, of course, now, if we choose, we can stand real in the new nowness, and karma no longer applies. It simply is no more. As we decide to stand with the is, we stand beyond creation, and thus are beyond the cause and effect that is its design. So, physical attacks, yes, but many attacks will naturally occur on the real side. I have had, and I'm sure most new friends have, numerous attacks by various individuals. The creational matrix is replete with weird and twisted beings, more than content to attack for the sake of it, or are subconsciously programmed by the Kalorm to do so. For unless an individual is connected to their awareness, and superseding then the programming potential of not being so, they can become unwitting pawns of the Kalorm, and activated to attack others resultingly. As moments pass, we become more aware. We step far more into our real awareness, and we can handle situations with better effect. The guides will give us the space to have the chance to deal with adverse circumstances ourselves, for this is how we grow in our ability. But always they are near to step in if needs be. I was once attacked on the real side by an individual who subjected me to all manner of sordid torments, and months later I would meet him again. I referred to him as the creepy clown, as he reminded me of Pennywise, the clown from Stephen King's novel called It, due to his malicious attitudes and conduct. But on the second occasion, even though he was aware of me, he left me alone, because he recognized that my awareness was such that I could handle myself far better and beyond his ability to torment. So it's plain to see that as we become more aware, we more so can deal with anyone and any situation. But what of attacks that are of a psychic science nature, ones that seem to stem from the real side, but manifest very demonstrably on the physical, with manipulation of the creational level. Another creep of a person attacked me on the real side, back when my awareness was lacking, and he was most abusive. On that occasion, a fleet of spaceships materialized and chased him away with laser fire. I suggest this was the guides stepping in and assisting me. But he then followed me through to the physical. On awakening, he was in my bedroom and managed to paralyze me. It was only through the singing of the New You song that the invisible shackles fell away, and he faded from sight with an incredulous look on his face. This was a situation where an individual was skilled enough that he could almost straddle both worlds, the passing dream and the real side, and manifest on the physical and affect manipulation here. Had I not sung the New You song, who knows what may have occurred? Also, there are situations where individuals can operate on the astral level and cause effect on the physical, yet remain unseen by the victims and recipients of their attentions. Broadly speaking, this occurs anyway. As we agree to something, we become tap-lined by it, and energy drained as a result, according to the individual's intent, and ultimately this will manifest as cancers and sicknesses on the physical, the source of which was the astral. But this would not be an instantaneous process, as effects from astral causes of this nature take time to manifest fully on the physical. But what of attacks from the unseen astral that result in immediate impact on the physical? Attacks of this nature seem rarer, but do occur. I had a real side dream where I witnessed an entire village slaughtered as though by unseen foes. It was the reptilians carrying out this carnage, but from the astral level, yet able to slay these peoples on the physical. A few of them were seen by those with the ability to see beyond the physical. It seems then that the reptilians do have this capability. Again, what may keep them in check is the cause and effect instant backlash for harming new students. Nevertheless, it does occur as this real side dream demonstrated, and recently Peter, my father, was attacked on the physical level. He was walking down the street, and then was shoved by what seemed an invisible assailant, thrown into a fence, and pinned there, as though by a force unseen. He sustained quite the bruising to his arm, which he has shown us, and I have pictures recorded of the injury. And so the attack occurred on a life level he was unable to perceive from the physical level he was on, so probably the astral. Interestingly, leading up to this assault, he had had a real stinker of a week, and was very emotionally engaged, and so he was far more connected and standing in his personal self than usual. This proves again how the more we stand in our real awareness, the more we can better handle ourselves, and the less likely we will be attacked. For we have our vehicles on all levels too, and it's conceivable we may have even defended ourselves on the very level in which the attacker instigated the assault. And the more we are in our real awareness, the more we are untouchable on all life levels, it would seem. So it's possible this individual lay in wait, like a snake in the grass, taking the opportunity to strike when Peter was leaning far more into his personal self, and initiated a cowardly attack, not even having the courage to face Peter, attacking from behind, and when his awareness defences were literally down due to his bad week. The only other possibility, if this wasn't an attack from a very adept creation creep, and based on the reptilian dream these individuals do exist, was that it may have been a ghost. For as we know, those trapped between the levels, who are neither on the next level or this one, but confused and between the two, do seem to be able to cause mayhem on the physical. Individuals who were so attached to their personal selves and lifetime here literally have wedged themselves in this between position until they decide otherwise and move on. Very unaware beings, yes, and many can manifest as poltergeist, the ghosts who cause physical damage to people and buildings on the physical, through their sheer rage, frustration and agitation, and they are generally invisible too, and yet victims bear the brunt of their invisible attacks, scars, bruisings, even rape and death. So it's possible that either Peter was assaulted deliberately by a reptilian, or something of that nature, with the ability to attack from the astral unseen, or it was a random poltergeist, who was maybe drawn to Peter due to the real light of the ears he would have around his being, and perhaps the poltergeist lashed out, as they seem inclined to do. Either way, it's apparent as to why it's considered a risk-taker position, that of becoming more aware. Not only are we risking to stand real and move into an unknown and never explored isness, risking to do what we've never done before, but we also attract the attention of the Callum god, and the individuals who would attack those they consider a threat and agitation to their little established fantasy life positions. And such individuals are just operating out of fear. They are afraid to be real, to take the risk themselves, so they project their fear onto others, just like the clown character I encountered. And it seems, on top of that, the light of the isness will attract all manner of beings, entities, and individuals trapped between the physical and astral that would fit the poltergeist description. All individuals stand real in the ears, but most won't recognize this, and yet they are drawn to those that are. Their real selves motivate the curiosity, and the personal self moves in closer for inspection. But evidently not all will simply be curious. I've had little grey aliens, robotic animals, and creatures and all kinds approach with natural curiosity, but some simply attack, as in Peter's case here, and we must expect this to always be a possibility. For it is a long journey to recognise the ears, and we will face all of ourselves and creation, and have much by way of confrontation along the road. This isn't for everyone, only for the real risk-takers, who would risk it all, everything they've ever known and been, to stand real with the ears. And yes, we may be attacked and intimidated along the way. In fact, that's a given. And we may even be eliminated. But far better to die on our shields, in pursuit of a real position in the true reality, than to die on our knees, in servitude and agreement to the controllers and the Callum god, in a pitiful acquiescence to more unconscious lifetimes of drudgery and slavery.